Entering King's
Hello, everybody, and welcome to EGFH Season 1, Week 2 in Overwatch. I want to apologize for the late start today. There were some technical difficulties for Game 1, so now we're going to get into the match between Shelton's Gael Goons Black and Woodstock Academy's Woodstock Gold. My name is Roro, and I'm joined by Del. How you doing, Del?
Well, you know, I had to tear my hands away from Destiny 2, but other than that, I'm excited for some hot Destiny action today. We got the Gael Goons showing up. You know, we've seen them a couple games now, and we have the debut appearance of the one and the only Woodstock Gold team here, and I'm really looking forward to it. You know, they have the matching icons in spawn. They have Mercy bot on the team with showing up with the big amount of time on Mercy. And so, you know, that's one of those things that I think is going to be really interesting to see, you know, that really experienced Mercy play coming into this Mercy meta, into this Mercy patch, leading that today off.
Now, what do you think about these lineups? We saw a lot of Mercy and a couple of Junkrats, but the Hanzo pick coming out from, I believe it's the Gael Goons, right?
Yes. Hanzo, I mean, it could be a spawn pick here, and it could be one of those things that who knows what we see, you know, in these last couple seconds. But as it is on defense, you know, it looks like we'll probably hold that, and this will be something that I haven't actually seen before. A defensive Hanzo on King's Row, so this could be a completely game-changing.
Correction, the team running the Hanzo, the blue team, is Woodstock Academy. So we'll see what Mercy bot can do on this Hanzo, whether Mercy bot can get a lot of picks or not. Just turn that fight into their favor.
Yeah, we'll get started here today.
All right, now the Junkrat's gonna be coming out from the Gael Goons. They're gonna be putting a lot of pressure onto the points, just lobbing those grenades over the wall. Now KCMP is going to come up right in, get a dive, but Gabby's going to get the pick onto Pickle at best. Right now both teams are quite even, but now Mr. Blonde's mech goes down, and Havoc Bar is going to be dropping the res on the Pickle at best, and Blaze is going to take down Gabby. Right now, it looks like defense is holding pretty strong.
Yeah, that was a really solid hold there, you know. That early pick on KCMP was pretty huge from there, and I think that ultimately didn't let that red team get past that choke. But we're going to see a dragon come out from Hanzo. You know, Mercy bot showed up that she is very flexible, she is very flexible.
Right, and that's actually such an early dragon. It's the only ult that's come out so far. 17's going to have the Valkyrie come out, but right now, that's just because they've been taking so much chip damage, probably from Mercy bot even. And Blaze is going to be jumping in on this onto Mr. Blonde's mech. That's going to have to jump out to that hotel. A lot of pressure on him, but it's able to get out alive. Now it looks like the Gael Goons are going to be starting to advance onto the point. XPMC not very challenged, but Mercy bot able to take him down. 17's going to res Gabby immediately, but Woodstock Academy getting so many picks onto this point. 17 to pop the Valkyrie and try to resurrect KCM PC. Now a lot more, and the fight's going to start swinging into the favor of Woodstock, or excuse me, the Gael Goons.
As we see these final frags come out, you know, huge play with Mr. Blonde. He didn't pickle it best with the D1, and you know, now we just have this last second star come out from Blazin, and ultimately I think this point is going to go the way of the attack. You know, Goons did manage to pull that off, and I think largely this attack was successful due to that awesome wrist res from 17.
Now it's all on a moment here. The Woodstock Gold is still holding this point. The 2 ticks haven't gone by yet. Overwatch just sitting on point. Havoc pocketing him very hard. The ult's going to come out from Gabby. Dragon Blade taking down her Herazrador. He dies with the Transcendence, which is unfortunate. But forcing out the Transcendence from Frosty Eskimo on the side of the offense. Now this fight is still just going so drawn out, but it looks like Woodstock will finally have to give up this point. But actually no. The Transcendence will be coming out from Herazrador, and they're going to keep holding the point. And Pickle at best, switching over to the Widow, will land 2 crucial picks, and Woodstock Gold will hold this point.
You know, some might say that you pick double sniper, maybe the game's not going to go your favor, but Pickle at best really showed up there. He got 4 kills at least. It showed up in the kill feed there, just lining those shots up, you know. And this Mercy Hanzo combo now that we have on the defense is really quite interesting. I mean, it's just something that I guess maybe the offense is just completely unprepared for.
Right, and now we got KCMPC jumping right in, but the rest of his team was not quite there with them. Gabby's going to be running around trying to put some pressure onto his backline, but now without that presence, It just okay, but the res go down immediately onto KBC MPC. Now there's a lot more presence on the point. Lots of picks going on both sides. Self-destruct able to take down Harassrador, but Havictor is still on the point. Gonna be able to. Excuse me, Havictor was also picked. Mr. Blonde going to be getting a pick on the Mercy bot. That's a lot of damage gone already because they're running double sniper. Piccolo Best trying to scramble onto the point, but it's getting challenged by Gabby. Will go down, and now it looks like Woodstock will finally get the second tick, and perhaps with these next 2 kills onto Havictor, they'll be able to take the point finally.
You know, that was a really big win for the defense there, I think. If they do end up taking this, even though, you know, they did lose that point there, that was a pretty incredible stall there that we saw. You know, it's not very often that we see a 4-minute kind of first point hold there. And ultimately, I think what's going to make this defense even more successful is maybe switching those picks up for something a little bit more mobile and getting a good contestant start. It seems like what we have coming out of the defense this time is kind of a stall-based strategy where they're just trying to take these fights and they're trying to make these fights as long as possible. And that's a really excellent strategy if your opponents are having a lot of trouble kill you, which it looks like that seems to be the problem there for the Gael Goons today. But as we have a lot of ultimates coming into this next fight, we'll be interested to see how they use them, and maybe this Dragon Blade comes out huge from Gabby.
Right now, the payload's going to be moving up already halfway through the streets phase. The Dragon's going to be coming out from Mercy bot right onto the point, but it's going to force out the Transcendence. Self-destruct going out into the back. He's able to take out 17. While 17 has the Valkyrie, that's going to be a huge swing in momentum here, as it looks like Woodstock Gold will be able to hold this point right before it reaches the end.
You know, and Blazin just showed up there. He opened that fight up with 2 picks there, and then that was something that's absolutely nuts. You know, like having that Pharah swap, getting those 2 picks, that's absolutely insane. And you know, the offense wasn't even able to use any ultimates there. We did see the drag come out, and I believe we did see Transcendence there. But other than that, you know, we still have a lot of ultimates on both sides of the field, and you know, we'll see how that goes.
And now Mercy bot's gonna get picks, but then Havictor's gonna bring him back up immediately. And it looks like Piccolo Best is putting a lot of pressure onto this backline, and Gael Goons are just gonna advance forward, able to take down Mercy bot. Now the pick that Mercy bot got onto Gabby is undone with that Resurrect. It's a 5v6 right now. Gabby's gonna pop his Dragon Blade, taking down Havictor. Havictor had Valkyrie up, and that's just a huge momentum shift once again. Getting another pick on the Harassrador of that Dragon Blade. Now it's 6v4, 6v3 on points, as Mr. Blonde is also out of, or I'm sorry, Overbud is out of mech, and now the payload will roll into the 3rd point.
Get ready for a shot.
You know, this is just, again, we're seeing this kind of stall playstyle. This is something that, you know, it might be what wins you in the long term, but sure, man, these fights don't look like they're going defense's way right now.
Right, also something to note is that Woodstock Gold is running single support right now, and with Piccolo Best running around in the back line and Overbud on the Diva running into the team, and then 2 other DPS just kind of walking around, it's very hard for the Mercy to keep track of all of them with just single target healing.
Yeah, that is something to really consider. I think that this is just one of those unorthodox comps it's just really being pulled out here, and it's just really something new to deal with. So it's really cool to see these guys experiment out of the box.
Right now, KCMPC is gonna hop in once again, but his team wasn't behind at that time. He's gonna go down to the Bastion in the back. There's so much damage in that sentry form.
And that's one of those things that I think, as a Winston, you have to be super aware of. It's if the enemy team has enough damage to kill you pretty much instantaneously, so you really got to be making a really smart engage here. And that's something that's just really talented.
It's a nice pick by Mercy Bot onto Gabby, but it gets picked up immediately. Piccolo Best once again going to be just landing a ton of damage onto KCMPC. Right now, both sides just picking each other relentlessly. Resurrect's going off left and right, but it looks like Woodstock Gold will once again hold the point.
Yeah, I mean, like that, this has just been a really interesting defensive hold here, and you know, it looks like it is going to be successful as we see these final kills come in, but Mercy is going to get the res off on Blondie, but he's going to get deleted by Mercy Bot. And that will be the defense pinching it there. It's really interesting stuff. You know, it's something that we definitely don't see every day.
Right, and I think the clock just kind of creeped up on the Gael Goons. Like they realized they had to run in, and then KCMPC once again just jumped into the back, and he was caught out alone right in the middle of that Bastion's line of sight.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that I really think that as a Winston, you have to really shift your mantra, your play style. As soon as you see like those high damage heroes like Bastion, Reaper, even Soldier, McCree to an extent, you know, when there's that amount of raw damage that exists on the enemy team, you have to be, you know, really maximizing the use of your bubble and your cooldowns, and that's something that I think that's what really sets apart a high tier Winston, is just understanding how to engage like that. And one of the things that I think ultimately might have been a little bit more successful for the Gael Goons on that attack would have been perhaps a triple tank setup where you maybe have Zarya Bubbles and D.Va, or you know, maybe even some kind of Junkrat, or maybe even a Hanzo of their own to take care of Bastion. It's one of those things that it's in the moment can be really hard to overcome. You know, you come into a fight and the enemy has a Bastion, a Hanzo, a Pharah, and you just have all this damage really laid into you, and that's something that I really I find interesting. You know, we definitely don't see that every day. I mean, maybe we see that every day in comp, but not so much for a little bit more organized team play. So it's cool to see that experimentation and making it their own. What I'm looking forward to see on this defense is this Reinhardt Roadhog combo. This is one of my favorite combos on defense. And I think that it offers the defense just a tremendous amount of pressure on the offense if they step out of line. And looking right on my man KC for these big hooks.
And we're gonna have to look out for Piccolo Best also. He's sticking with the Widow pick and hasn't shown himself yet. Actually, we'll have to see if the Gael Goons are able to play behind the shield once they realize Piccolo Best is on that Widow. Now, despite all the damage on the Gael Goons side, the shield is looking very unhealthy for Mr. Blonde here as he charges into the back line of Woodstock Gold. He's caught out all alone, but somehow is still alive.
This is gonna make you feel better.
Havictor laying a lot of pressure onto him, but moving him back into the middle of his team, and that's going to be the first pick. But then by KCMPC, or Havictor rather, Mercybot's going to res Overbutt.
Onwards to victory.
And looks like Woodstock Gold is going to be putting a lot of pressure onto this point. KCMPC gets taken down. Nice headshot by Pickle. Pickle at best with 3 picks already onto this point, and now Woodstock Gold will be taking it.
Clearing the area.
You know, Pickle's Best has definitely proven himself to be a force of nature on Widow. You know, on that defense, he had the 4 picks for recontest, and even on this offense, he's just putting out these constant threats. And as the enemy team, you really have to respect the Widow, and you have to understand that if you peek that Widow, you're going to put yourself in the opportunity to die, and that's just something that you have to adjust to.
Right, and a good pick by Mr. Pick onto Havictor. Havictor was a little bit cheeky on that Lucio, going into some people's faces and taking on that Junkrat. And now the red's going out from both sides. Havictor and Rossi Eskimo, both the second supports on both teams coming back. Pickle at best landing another pick, and now they could engage. 2 more picks going on by Overbutton and Blazin', and Gael Goons have to back out now.
I need healing. Protect the payload.
Right now there's just a lot of free payload push going on. And as Mr. Blonde gets caught behind the side of Woodstock Gold. And they need to regroup before the payload gets too close to the end. Right now they barely have as much enough time as it is.
Justice reigns from above.
We're gonna see just a lot of ultimates going here. We're gonna Visor a chance, a beat. Ultimates flying out from both sides here, and Mercybot gonna go down there. So that's a huge pick there for Gael Goons, as they still have their Resurrect in play.
I'm sorry, I had some issues with my mic, but now it looks, yes, Overbutt's going to land a huge shatter. He's going to get 2 picks, nice flame strike onto Frosty Esmo, and that'll be the second point for Woodstock Gold. Right now, they keep, the side of the Gael Goons, they keep getting caught out after these points are taken, and they're going in maybe 3v6. KCMP is gonna pop that whole hog, try to weaken the shield as much as he can. Overbutt's gonna be charging in, putting lots of pressure on Gavi. Gonna take him out. Pickle at best taking down the Riptire. That's a huge ultimate, unfortunately gone. And just multiple kills coming out for Woodstock Gold right now, and that will be the game.
That was interesting stuff here. One of the things that I think we're seeing kind of as a trend, and not necessarily in these games, this match on Kings right here, but just in some of all of these matches, with all these different skills, is that it seems that the teams that play to their strengths are the ones that are a little bit more successful. And you know, like we're seeing, of course, there's not a lot of as many set roles perhaps as to what we normally have seen in a more standardized scene. Like, we're seeing people flex around from main tanks to off tanks, from DPS to supports to DPS, all sorts of stuff, and that's really great, you know, to see everyone kind of working around and trying to play for the team, and I really love to see that. So I think that's super cool, and ultimately I think what's making a team more successful in one of these matches is kind of staying maybe within a little bit more of a comfort pick. You know, like it's not always good to have something just because it's a strong hero. It's in my opinion, it's better to have a pick that you're super comfortable on, and I think that's something that the Gael Goons are struggling with a little bit, is that they want to play kind of what they see with more organized teams, and that's always a good way to start. But I think that they're not making their compositions and they're not making their strategies their own, and I think that's ultimately setting themselves up for failure, because you know, it's one thing to just pick 6 heroes that the pros do, but it's another thing to play them like the pros do. And I think that if the Gael Goons want to be successful here, what they should be looking forward to is maybe playing a little bit more to their strengths, and I think that'll set them up a little bit better.
Right.
We'll be heading into Nepal here, and I'm really excited for this because I think that Gael Goons have shown up tremendously on Koth every single summit.
Right, and I'd like to see Emblazon on that Pharah again. Just Koth is such a good map type for Pharahs in general. You can just have a bailout for your Mercy and just a lot of damage all around the point. And Emblazon was going off that last game, just landing directs like it was his job.
Yeah, no, that's. I'm really impressed just in general by all of Woodstock Gold. It just seems like they're just playing out of their minds right now, and you know, maybe it's some good team practice, or maybe they just been putting in a lot of work and they just they figured it all out. And I think that's tremendous to see. You know, it's really cool to put a lot of work into a hero and really show up with it in a big game like this.
Indeed. Now we're gonna be on the Sanctum map here. What do you think about this? What do you think their picks in relation to their picks still?
So I think that Sanctum is dominated by Soldier. I think Soldier and Junkrat are probably the two most influential picks on this map, and as we look on that, you know, we're gonna see Pickle at best on the Rat, and you know, we're gonna see a Fair Mercy. So that's a pretty strong composition. The one thing I think that's a little bit out of whack just with that is the Orisa. I think the Orisa doesn't synergize as well as a Pharah. With a Pharah Junkrat as maybe a Winston or a Reinhardt even would, but you know, if Hi-Raz feels that that's what he needs to pick, then I believe this, and I think it could be a really good strong start here.
I feel like they're going for the meme environmental kills with the Roadhog pick even. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, and I think that's probably definitely one of those things they're probably talking about, like, oh man, I want to hook people into the pit and stuff. And that's always fun, but I think that the more important thing is just having a plan for who's going to control what area, how you're going to control the point, etc., etc. But on the side of the Gael Goons, we're going to see the McCree Genshu setup, and this honestly has a really good potential to be really, really lethal here. You know, we're only going to see a Lucio on one side, and the side of gold cards or Woodstock, and we'll see how that turns out for him.
Right, now the Gael Goons are kind of split up right now. Couple of people going left and right, whereas the entirety of Woodstock Gold is on one side. Gavi's gonna be running into the backline, trying to get the pick onto Mercy Bot. Almost gets the pick actually, but has to back out. Now, interestingly enough, the Gael Goons were the first onto the point, but Emblazon is going to land a good boop onto Frosty Eskimo. Havoctor are going to be landing the kill on the 17. Havoctor actually going off in this fight, getting 2 picks on that Lucio. And it looks like Woodstock Gold will win that engagement.
You know, that actually, I think, was a huge misplay there from Gael Goons. They had almost entirely map control of the point and surrounding areas, and they ended up kind of just taking weird fights when they could have gotten a really strong setup there. And that ultimately led to the failure of just setting themselves up to get destroyed by that Junkrat there from Pickle at best. And he has this tire coming into this second fight, which is absolutely huge. You know, there's no other ultimates in play at the moment, and this tire could be absolutely lethal.
Right now, it looks like the Gael Goons are just trying to figure out what angle to really attack from, but whatever entrance they walk into is just going to have a ton of explosives in it. So they need to be quick about it. I would even advise that Rossi Eskimo switch over to Lucio so they can just spend as little time as possible in chokes and just more time fighting.
That would be a good pick. And Pickle at best gonna grab Mr. Pink there as we kind of take the scattered fight going on with 17 falling as well. And Pickle at best getting the triple kill, saying hey, nah, goodbye to Casey.
Now we have Mr. Blonde sneaking around and onto the points, but Woodstock will respond immediately. And now it looks like Blaze is going to be landing a lot of fat rockets onto Mr. Blonde's mech, and that's going to be a huge stacker.
You know, and they still have that 10 seconds of terror, aka the Junkrat ultimate, coming into effect. So this is just not looking good for the Gael Goons here. They only have the double support ultimate and then a Winston ultimate coming online very quickly here, but they gotta come up absolutely huge here.
Right, and I think right now the Gael Goons are kind of running in like one at a time here and there. Pickle at best is gonna get picked off, or Gabby's gonna get picked off by Pickle at best, but now 17's gonna go for a res, and then just for that, Overbutt's gonna be getting the pick onto 17. And 17's dying with the Valkyrie, which is just so valuable right now. They need that much more healing on the points. A nice boop by Havoctor to take down Mr. Blonde right after that self-destruct. The self-destruct coming out from Overbutt as well to just clear the point, and that's going to be round 1.
That was, you know, again, we're seeing these off meta comps here from Woodstock here, and that's something that you really think is it must be having some kind of mental effect on the Gael Goons, because you know, I've seen these guys play a couple of times now, and I definitely think that they're capable of beating this stuff. I just think it's something they're really not experienced with. And
right,
I think
we're going to see the Gabby switching over to the Widow, probably to deal with Emblazon on that Pharah.
That is a really smart pick there. The smart pick though is obviously has to take into account the map though, and I think that's one of those things that a really good positioning from Gabby is going to be the key to them winning this round.
Right, and it looks like the Gael Goons still won't be running that Lucio, so all of these entrances will be shut down by Pickle and Rinblazon.
You're going to see the split take though, and that Widow pick opening up on high res, but the Resurrect is going to nullify that coming in, and we are still going to see a pretty interesting take here from the Gael Goons.
Right, they have both their tanks on the points, actually, whereas Gabby's able to get the pick onto Emblazon. That's a huge pick already. Both the tanks all alone on point though. We'll see if they can hold until the rest of the team gets there. For the Gael Goons. Harassador able to take down Mr. Blonde's mech, but now Mr. Blonde is just going to get the mech back immediately right after that res, and now the Gael Goons, so much presence on the points, they're able to take it.
Pickle at best though, still alive with his Junkrat, has 2 kills, looks for 3, gets the 4th. 4 kills from Pickle at best, but he's going to fall to Mr. Blonde, coming in with the F-16 Diva rockets. But it looks like Woodstock will flip this point. Ultimately, I think Pickle at best just really throwing down some sick damage there.
Right, and that was just huge. Pickle at best was sitting on the side, and it just people turned towards him too late. And Mr. Blonde got the pick eventually, but by then the damage was done. Everybody was so low.
We'll fall there to Gabby, but we'll get the Resurrect. And Anna has that 10 seconds of terror, looking for the big ultimate here. I think the Gael Goons really have to watch out for this here.
Right, and the Gael Goons right now, they're down one. They're down their cog right now, and I don't think they should try to be going in. Gabby's going to get the pick, so it'll be evened up. But Blaze is going to land a huge barrage, getting 2 kills, and Overbutt's going to clean up Mr. Pink. That's just another fight going in favor of Woodstock, where they were disadvantaged to start.
And that's you know, those DPS ultimates are just so powerful, and I feel like when you have so many DPS ultimates just being used all the time, it's just setting them up. And then Blazin' gonna stagger Gabby off there with help from Have Victoria as they get that kill and that crucial stagger.
Right, Mr. Pink gonna get caught in the middle of Woodstock, unfortunately, and now it's a 5v6 once again for the Gael Goons. Mr. Blanc gonna be running onto the point, popping that self-destruct, but very easily taken care of by her Resrador. Another self-destruct gonna be coming out from Overbutt this time. And now Gael Goons are going to be running onto the point. Riptire going to be coming out, and is able to take Mr. Blonde's mech out. But unfortunately, doesn't look like Woodstock will be giving up this point.
No, it looks like we are going to see the fight swing the way of Woodstock there, even with Mr. Pink showing up with the Junkrat picks there, and that was really close there. I think that was, you know, we did see it 99-12, but I think the fights there were a lot closer than we've seen. And I think ultimately the reason why we saw that is we saw more comfort picks come out from the side of the Gael Goons, and less of these quote-unquote meta comps that we've seen. And I think that one of the things that was absolutely a monster was this pick play from Pickle at best. You know, he gets 1 pick on the Mercy, 2 picks on the Widow, then it's gonna pick up Roadhog, and then eventually I think he even grabs another one at the end, right after that play of the game. And that's just absolutely lethal. You know, that was the same man that showed up 4 kills on that King's Row recontest. That's just absolutely one of those things that is just terrifying to see. You know, if you're on a team, and you know you have 1, 2, 3, 4 people drop just to a Widow, I mean that's just something that I think it gets in your head a little bit. And you know, then the man does it consistently, round after round. It just sets you up for one of those mental aspects where it's really tough to recover from. But I think the Gael Goons there did end up putting up a lot better of a fight, you know, once they came into those stronger picks that they were just individually more comfortable on. And I think that ultimately that's probably the reason why Woodstock won, is because they were just super comfortable on what they were playing.
Okay, thank you for tuning in to EGFH Season 1, Week 2 for Overwatch. You can catch the action every week starting at 3:30 on Wednesdays with Overwatch and Thursday with League of Legends, so make sure you hit that follow button. I'm Roar, and I was joined by Del. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us, and make sure you come in and check out that League of Legends tomorrow. It's always super fun. I love watching it myself, and I definitely want to see some more awesome esport actions from our high schoolers here. And that'll be all for today, and I hope you guys have a terrific day, and
we'll see you next time.
Soon.